Hello and welcome. Are you ready to improve your English today? Today we have an incredible mysterious story for you. It is about a regular man who decides to change his life by waking up at 5 a.m. only to discover a terrifying secret about his quiet neighbor. This video is designed to be a full 10 to 15 minute immersive lesson. The language is kept at level 1, using short, simple sentences and highly practical vocabulary about daily habits. The mystery will keep you completely focused from start to finish, which is the perfect way to learn English naturally. But we are not just listening today. You are going to practice speaking. We will use the shadowing technique. This is very simple. Listen to a sentence, pause the video, repeat the sentence aloud, matching my voice. This will build your confidence and improve your pronunciation fast. Sit back, relax, and let's begin the story. Thomas is an unhappy man. He is 32 years old. He lives in a small quiet house in a suburban neighborhood. Thomas works as an accountant. He sits at a desk all day. He feels tired, unproductive, and bored with his daily routine. Every day, Thomas has the same bad habits. He sleeps late. He wakes up at 8 a.m., feeling exhausted. He rushes to work, drinks 3 cups of bad coffee, and returns home to watch television until midnight. I need to change my life, Thomas says to himself one evening. He is reading a book about successful people. The book says, successful people always wake up early. They use the quiet hours of the morning to build a better life. Thomas decides to start a new habit. He grabs his phone. He sets his alarm for 5 a.m. Tomorrow, my new life begins, he whispers. He goes to bed at 10 p.m. But he cannot sleep immediately. He worries about his loud alarm. Finally, he closes his eyes. Beep, beep, beep. The alarm sounds. Thomas opens his eyes. The room is pitch black. He looks at his phone. The screen glows blue. 5 a.m. His body feels heavy and cold. He wants to press the snooze button. He wants to sleep for 3 more hours. No, Thomas says aloud. I am a disciplined man now. He steps out of his warm bed. The wooden floor is freezing. He walks slowly to the kitchen. He turns on a small yellow lamp. Thomas starts his new morning routine. First, he drinks a large glass of cold water. Second, he makes a cup of fresh black coffee. The smell of the coffee makes him feel awake. The house is incredibly quiet. There are no cars driving on the street outside. There are no birds singing yet. The world is asleep. Thomas sits by the kitchen window with his hot mug. He looks outside. The street lights throw long yellow shadows on the wet pavement. He looks at the house next door. It belongs to Mr. Alistair. Mr. Alistair is an old man who lives alone. He never talks to anyone. He never smiles. Suddenly, a light turns on in Mr. Alistair's house. It is not a normal light. It is a bright red light shining from the basement window. Thomas frowns. Why does his neighbor have a red light in the basement at 5 a.m.? He watches the window closely. A shadow moves behind the glass. It is a tall, thin shadow. It is Mr. Alistair. Mr. Alistair is carrying something heavy. It looks like a large, long black plastic bag. He drags it slowly across the basement floor. Thomas feels a cold shiver. What is he doing? Thomas whispers. A minute later, the red light turns off. The neighbor's house goes completely dark again. Thomas sits in the dark kitchen. His coffee is now cold. He cannot focus on his books. He cannot focus on his goals. He can only think about the long black bag and the strange red light. The next day, the alarm rings at 5 a.m. again. Thomas does not hesitate. He jumps out of bed immediately. He does not make coffee. He goes directly to the kitchen window. He stands in the dark, peeking through the plastic blinds. At exactly 5:10 a.m., the red light in the basement window turns on. The shadow of Mr. Alistair appears again. This time he is not alone. There is another shadow in the room. The second shadow is small and it is tied to a chair. Thomas gasps. His heart is beating like a drum in his chest. Is someone trapped in his basement? He asks himself. He wants to call the police, but he stops. He has no proof. Maybe it is just a coat rack or a piece of furniture. The police will think he is crazy for watching his neighbor at 5 a.m. Thomas decides to investigate. He needs to know the truth. That afternoon, Thomas walks around the neighborhood. He sees Mr. Alistair standing near his mailbox. The old man wears a long grey coat. His face is pale, and his hands are covered in black leather gloves. "Good afternoon, Mr. Alistair," Thomas says politely. He tries to look calm. Mr. Alistair slowly turns his head. His grey eyes are cold and empty. "Good afternoon, Thomas," the old man says. His voice is deep and raspy. "It was a very beautiful sunrise this morning," Thomas says, testing him. "I love waking up early. Do you wake up early, Mr. Alistair?" The old man pauses. He stares at Thomas for a long, uncomfortable moment. He pulls his leather gloves tighter. "The morning is for secrets, Thomas," Mr. Alistair says slowly. "Smart people stay in bed." Without another word, Mr. Alistair turns around and walks back inside his house. He locks the front door. Click. Thomas cannot sleep that night. He keeps thinking about the old man's words. The morning is for secrets. At 4:45 a.m., Thomas is already awake. He does not wait for his alarm. He wears a dark black jacket and soft shoes. He grabs his flashlight. He steps outside his house. The air is freezing and a light fog covers the street. He walks quietly across his lawn to Mr. Alistair's yard. The grass is wet with morning dew. Thomas approaches the small basement window. The red light is not on yet. He bends down and looks through the dirty glass. The basement is dark, but his flashlight beam is too bright. He cannot use it. Instead, he presses his face against the glass. Suddenly, the red light blinks on. Thomas is looking directly into the room. He sees the walls. They are painted dark red. He sees the chair in the center of the room. The small shadow is indeed a person. It is a young woman. Her hands are tied behind her back. Her eyes are covered with a black cloth. Behind her, Mr. Alistair steps into the red light. He is holding a long silver needle. Thomas gasps loudly. His hand accidentally hits the metal window frame. Clang! The sound is incredibly loud in the quiet morning. Inside the basement, Mr. Alistair stops. He slowly turns his head toward the window. He looks directly at Thomas. Thomas panics. He spins around and runs as fast as he can across the wet grass. He slips and falls, but he gets up immediately. His heart is pounding with pure terror. Behind him, he hears a heavy door slam open. "Who is there?" Mr. Alistair shouts into the dark. Thomas reaches his own backyard. He runs inside his back door and locks it. He slides down the door, breathing heavily in the dark kitchen. His knees are shaking. He looks through the kitchen window. Under the street lamp, he sees Mr. Alistair standing in the yard. The old man is holding a flashlight, scanning the grass. The light beams across Thomas's window. Thomas ducks down, hiding on the floor. He holds his breath. A few minutes later, the light disappears. Thomas looks out again. Mr. Alistair is gone. Thomas grabs his phone. His hands are shaking so much he can barely type. He calls the emergency number. "Police! I need help!" Thomas whispers desperately. "My neighbor, Mr. Alistair. He has a woman tied to a chair in his basement. I saw her." "Please calm down, sir," The operator says, "What is your address?" Thomas gives his address. "Please, hurry," he begs. He knows I saw him. 10 minutes pass. The police are not here yet. To Thomas, it feels like 10 hours. Suddenly, the electricity in Thomas's house cuts out. The small refrigerator stops humming. The house is dead silent. Thomas hears a soft sound at his back door. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Someone is picking the lock. Thomas runs to the front door, but as he reaches it, he sees a shadow moving on the front porch. He is trapped inside his own house. He runs upstairs to his bedroom. He locks his bedroom door. He pushes his heavy wooden dresser in front of the door. Below him, he hears the back door open. Creak. Slow, heavy footsteps begin to climb the stairs. Step, step, step. Thomas has no weapon. He grabs a heavy metal lamp from his bedside table. He stands behind the dresser, holding the lamp high. The footsteps stop outside his bedroom door. The doorknob jiggles. Rattle, rattle. "Thomas!" Mr. Alistair's voice whispers from the other side. "You should have stayed in bed. Waking up early is a very dangerous habit." Suddenly the wooden door splinters. A heavy iron crowbar crashes through the wood. Thomas screams and backs away. The crowbar hits the door again and again. The wood breaks and the dresser slides backward. Through the broken door, Mr. Alistair steps into the room. He is covered in sweat and his eyes are wild. But he does not have a weapon. He drops the crowbar on the floor. "Stop! Don't touch me!" Thomas shouts, raising the metal lamp. "Thomas, listen to me!" Mr. Alistair gasps, holding his hands up. "The woman! She is not a prisoner. She is my daughter, Sarah." Thomas freezes. "What?" "She is a drug addict," Mr. Alistair explains quickly, his voice shaking. "She was dying on the streets. I brought her here to save her. The red light is a special therapy lamp for her recovery. The needle was medicine to help her sleep through the pain. I tied her to the chair because she tries to hurt herself when she wakes up." Thomas stares at the old man. "Why didn't you tell the police? Why is it a secret?" "Because she is wanted by the law," Mr. Alistair says sadly. "If they find her, she will go to prison, not a hospital. I am just a father trying to save his daughter's life." Outside, loud sirens echo through the quiet streets. Bright red and blue lights flash through the bedroom window. The police have arrived. Mr. Alistair looks at the window, then looks at Thomas. His eyes are full of tears. "Please," the old man begs, "don't let them take her." Thomas stands in the flashing lights of his bedroom. He has a difficult choice to make. He can tell the police the truth and send Sarah to prison. Or he can protect his neighbor's secret. He looks at the old man's tired, desperate face. He understands the power of love and sacrifice. Thomas takes a deep breath. He walks downstairs and opens his front door. 3 police officers run up the steps with their flashlights. "Are you okay, sir? Where is the suspect?" the lead officer asks. Thomas looks back at Mr. Alistair, who is standing quietly on the stairs. Thomas turns to the police. "I am so sorry, officers," Thomas says calmly. "It was a mistake. I had a terrible nightmare because of my new sleep schedule. I woke up at 5 a.m., got confused, and panicked. There is no one in danger here." The officers look angry, but after checking the house, they leave. From that day on, Thomas continued his habit of waking up at 5 a.m., but he no longer sits alone at his window. Every morning at 5:30 a.m., Thomas walks next door. He brings a hot pot of fresh black coffee. He helps Mr. Alistair care for Sarah. Slowly, Sarah gets better. She begins to smile again. Thomas wanted to wake up early to change his own life. Instead, his new habit saved a family. What an emotional and surprising ending. Thomas started a morning routine to improve his own life. but he ended up helping his neighbors in their darkest moments. Now, it is your turn to practice your English speaking skills. We are going to start the shadowing technique right now. I will read 6 important sentences from the story we just finished. When you see the pause symbol on the screen, stop the video. Speak the sentence out loud, focusing on matching my speed, rhythm, and pronunciation exactly. Let's begin our active practice. Sentence 1. Thomas decides to start a new habit. Pause the video now and repeat. Sentence 2. A bright red light is shining from the basement window. Pause the video now and repeat. Sentence 3. The young woman has her hands tied behind her back. Pause the video now and repeat. Sentence 4. Thomas runs as fast as he can across the wet grass. Pause the video now and repeat. Sentence 5. I am just a father trying to save my daughter. Pause the video now and repeat. Sentence 6. Thomas wanted to wake up early to change his own life. Pause the video now and repeat. Incredible job today. Remember, consistency is the key to mastering any language. Waking up early to practice is a wonderful habit to build. To get the absolute best results from this lesson, come back to this video tomorrow. Listen to the story again. Pause and shadow the sentences one more time. If you enjoyed this mystery story, please click the thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel. We have many more exciting stories ready to help you learn English naturally. Thank you so much for watching. Keep practicing and I will see you in our next lesson.